Tonight, revenge for the hand of Suarez as Ghana is paired against Uruguay in Qatar World Cup draw.
In the last group, Group H, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and Korea Republic.
We have reactions with Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal also set to clash with the Black Stars.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone and Prime Insurance. It is perhaps the most painful moment in our collective football history as a country. That moment when the devilish hand of Suarez prevented Ghana from becoming the first African country to make it to the semi-final of the World Cup. Well, this year, as fate will have it, the Black Stars and Ghana will get an opportunity to revenge. In fact, we are now setting that we'll be coming up against Uruguay. Do you remember that painful moment in 2010? We'll get an opportunity to avenge that defeat, that hand that made sure that we lost in that quarterfinal match in South Africa. This is the moment a short while ago in Qatar when Ghana's name was pulled out from that bowl and our fate was sealed coming up against three strong countries.
Ghana
Ghana have now qualified for 4 out of 5 FIFA World Cups since making their debut in 2006. Their best performance came in 2010 when they reached the quarterfinals.
So we do have the same constraint in Group F, with Ghana being in the same confederation as Morocco. So we will go to Group H.
In the last group, Group H, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and Korea Republic.
So there you had it. Ghana is definitely going to come up against Uruguay again. And I just have Mutao joining me in the studio right now to quickly go through for you the entire draw and which teams are going to be playing which teams. And in fact, for us here, we only care about the group that Ghana is in. Let's go through that again for those who are now joining and wondering what has happened with the Black Stars and Ghana at the World Cup. So we're coming up against 3 other teams. Let's go through them.
Yeah, 3 other teams. Ghana is in the group of Portugal, Uruguay, and South Korea. And the interesting thing is that the Black Stars will open their campaign against Portugal on November 24.
Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal.
Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal. This is a repeat of the last group stage game in the 2014 FIFA World Cup when the Black Stars came up against Portugal in that competition. Then they will play South Korea on November 28 before wrapping up their group campaign against Uruguay on December 2. So those are the fixtures for the Black Stars in the FIFA World Cup.
And of course, yes, go on.
For the entire draw, you have the host
So I'll go
nation.
to the entire draw very shortly,
yes.
but you cannot but pause and look at that game between Ghana and Uruguay. We're going to be analysing that and we'll get to reactions
Evans,
to that.
it's always a
more.
difficult game for me to talk about because that is a night I have always struggled to overcome. Even as I talk about it, sometimes when I want to talk about it, I palpitate. So I keep getting some of these palpitations. That makes it very difficult for me to talk about that. Because you look at how Suarez denied Africa an opportunity of playing in the semi-final of a FIFA World Cup. And you're looking at the mace of Asamoah Gyan and you keep asking yourself questions. Why did he go for power? Why did he not place the ball? Probably Africa could have been in the semi-final if Asamoah Gyan had not gone for power. An opportunity for us to revenge.
You say that, but I must say that almost every Ghanaian remember where you were when Suarez handled the ball on the line.
I watched
almost
that
every
game.
in fact it is for me the turning moment in my football loving life. I mean it just I think I died that day. And for many Ghanaians, many Ghanaians have still not lived again
I've still
after
not
that
overcome.
moment.
Just like I mentioned,
You know.
I'm not to overcome that.
Yeah.
Evans.
I mean,
It's pretty difficult to
and
accept that.
and really to get an opportunity again to
But
teach them
it will
and
be
to avenge.
It will be very, very difficult. Hopefully, the Black Stars will have a very good team that can compete against Uruguay. But this is a country that has always performed well when it comes to the FIFA World Cup. The first nation to have won that competition in 1930. They've got a pedigree. Black Stars have been there 3 times, making a return for the 4th time in our history. It's going to be difficult. Always against South American opposition. It's always difficult.
Let's go through the Group A. Group A. Let's talk about Group A. Which teams are there?
And we have the host nation, which is Qatar. They are in Group A. They will open the campaign against Ecuador. There's a place for Africa champions, Senegal and Netherlands.
So
Senegal,
Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal,
Netherlands.
Okay.
So Senegal will open their campaign against the Netherlands. The interesting story about Senegal is that they are arguably the best side in the continent. Would they make it out of this group? That's a difficult question for anyone to answer. In Group B, the group that Ghana's assistant coach George Burton wanted us to be in because he wanted Ghana to pair with England. So it is the 3 Lions. They're in that group alongside Iran versus USA, and it's going to be either Ukraine or Israel. And then in Group C,
England,
Iran,
USA.
US of A. It's likely to either be Ukraine or Israel that is going to.
You know that group is interesting also because USA and Iran. I mean, because of world geopolitics, because of world geopolitics, not because of football.
Just for football reasons.
I mean, Iran and USA, they see themselves as enemies.
Yes.
Not in football terms, pure enemies. And that is going to be an interesting game indeed to watch.
So in Group C, we have Argentina, we have Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. And in Group D, we have the defending champions, France. They are also in the group with Canada, who have qualified. There's Denmark and there's Tunisia. Then in Group E, we have Spain and we have Germany and we have Japan as well. Australia is also likely to be in that group if they win their contest. In Group F, we have the 2014 semi-finalists, which is Belgium. They are going to be in the group of Canada. That is Morocco and Croatia. In Group G, it is Brazil. They have qualified for every single FIFA World Cup. They are in the group of Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. And then in Group H, the group Ghana, Portugal, Uruguay.
Okay.
South Korea.
Very short, 1 second. Which is your group of death?
That's quite a difficult question for me to answer. But
Okay.
I think that the group that has got Spain and Germany, I think that's quite a very difficult group because Spain and Germany would always, and Japan, you cannot have a walkover this team. They are quite a difficult side. Then we can also talk about Belgium and Morocco. Not too sure, but I think it's
it's difficult to pick out one. But Muftar, thank you very much. My guests are now joining me. We're going to have a special 1 hour 30 minutes all the way to 7, including Ghana Connect, of course, on this very exciting news that we're going to get an opportunity to avenge that defeat in 2010, the World Cup in South Africa. Joining me right now on the telephone line is Coach Sana Jiman, and also Jerome Autry is a football sports analyst. Also joining me via Zoom is a former spokesperson for the GFA, Ibrahim Sani Dara, here on Top Story. Sanidar, let me start with you. Give me your quick reaction to that Group H: Ghana, Portugal, Uruguay, Korea.
I think it's a manageable draw. I was really happy that we got that group. If we had been put in that group of Japan, Germany, and Spain, we would have had a really arduous task. So I say it's a good draw. All these 3 teams, we've played them before, and when we played them, we gave a good account of ourselves. And I think that with the right preparations and the right approach and praying that our squad is injury-free, we'll be able to make it to the second round of the World Cup. I'm very confident. If we prepare well, we have sanity and serenity in camp, and there are no distractions. The boys will be determined to be able to do something. Portugal, yes, they were in pot one of our group, so therefore you obviously expect them to be global giants, but they are not the giants that they were a few years ago. Most of their players that we know are aging. Somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo, Pepe, and co. Are a bit passing their prime. So when they meet young players, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. My banana skin in this group is South Korea. They are really, really tricky, and they are the Asian nation that has excelled in most tournaments at the World Cup. So we need to take very good care of them. Uruguay, we can manage them well, but I think that it's a manageable group that if we prepare well, we can thrive.
Okay, stay with me, Sunny. Let me bring in Coach Nanajiman. Coach, if you're looking at this group from the perspective of a coach, happy with the draw that Ghana got tonight?
Yeah, of course, fairly happy. Why not? I think that the competition is good. It's not insurmountable. We're looking at countries that we've played before. We've beaten South Korea the last time I think we played them. They've developed more now. Yeah, they're tricky. Nothing to worry about if the preparation is right. We've got a brand new bunch of boys now, and that's where focus needs to be. I said earlier on in the week, we need to ensure that all the FIFA friendly days are soaked up with quality friendlies so that we get to have a look at the other players that we've yet to actually see introduced to the Black Stars. And in between all of that, we still have African Cup of Nation qualifiers. So, we've got a very nice period where we can put together a very top team where the deficiency is striking, where we cover that in a number of ways. One, by having a very, very strong midfield, which is what we're building right now. And two, by ensuring that we get players who can put the ball in the back of the net. I don't think this group is any tougher than any other group. We've all got to play football. It's down to the preparation. You can fail to prepare by being prepared to fail. So I think it's all there to play for. We've got this far, and look how tricky that road was. And on paper, that road looked so easy. But look at what happened. You see? So let's just prepare. Right now, we don't have any coaches because the contract is over. That's the first thing we need to do, not to waste time, reappoint all of them and pay them what they want to be paid and let them get on with the job and support them. Where are they going to train when they're camping here in Ghana? We don't even have anywhere. The Pram place, you can't take anybody there. Big embarrassment. Where are they going to train? Do we need to set up an individual training center for them right now? Because we've got 12 million. We can do it. If we're serious, we can set something up for them that they can use to train. Because nowhere is adequate. Even the Accra Stadium, which is listed as their home ground, inadequate. But we don't have to waste time now. We don't have to waste time, and we also don't have to go into a blind panic. If we have these four as a technical team, everything's under control. But they need to start working now. That's what needs to start happening. Nothing to wave a red flag about.
Very interesting.
Three good games, and we can go through.
Very interesting points there. Both of you very confident. We'll begin to dissect each team very shortly to see if indeed you agree player for player. And if you're looking at team and quality, the technical staff and everything else, whether we really can fancy our chances. But let me bring in Jerome. Jerome, would you agree with both Coach Nanajiman and Sani Dara that this is a fairly good team? Group for us?
I think so. I mean, it's a manageable group. It's something it's a group we should be able to overcome, qualify to the next stage if we will prepare well and get things right. I mean, if you look at how our team has been in recent months, and you look at the countries we've been paired with, you would think that these are countries that will run over us. But We have so much time ahead of us. If we are going to get things done properly with preparation, selection of players, where we are going to train, the coaching staff, if we are going to do all things the way we should, I think this is a manageable group. If we are not, then we'll be in for trouble because, the World Cup is a serious competition, and if you want to get things right there, you must do things right at home.
Okay, so all of you say this is a manageable group. But Coach, let me come back to you on the specifics of this. I want to start with Uruguay, and none of you make that point, the obvious point there. A chance for Ghana to avenge that, defeat in 2010, that dubious handball that made sure we didn't go to the semi-final. Isolate that 2 games for me, Ghana versus Uruguay. How important will this match be for us as a people?
Let me tell you something about that match. Don't start the hype.
Yeah.
I don't want any player in my team who is not prepared to put his hands up when he stands on the goal line when the ball is going homeward bound towards the goal. I don't want any player in my team who isn't prepared to do that. It's a part of the game. So let's not start saying it was dubious, it was this, it was what. He did what he was supposed to do for the Uruguayan team, and it took them through to the semi-final. What we should have done is when they were penalised and we got a penalty, we should have converted it. So let's don't go there. Let's not get caught up in the emotional diatribe about revenge and all this kind of stuff. We must prepare for every country accordingly. Right, forget the revenge thing, because the football is not emotional. It's scientific. It's science. There's no room for emotion until goals are scored or goals are conceded. So let's not get caught up in that. Portugal and Uruguay have defeated us before. Now is a good time to show them that we have developed, that we have grown, and that we're coming to conquer them. That's all. That's all.
Sunny Dara,
and we just get on with it.
Sonny, your reaction to that? You agree with Coach?
I do agree with Coach and take it a little further to say that we have to take them more seriously than we are taking them. As you know, Oscar Tabarez, who was sacked way back in December, had been in charge of the team for 15 years before he was fired for Diego Alonso to take over. And
you mean the Uruguayan team? Their coach has been there for 15 years. Okay.
Yes, Oscar Tabarez was in charge for 15 years. This is a rarity in the football world. And Diego Alonso, who was a former coach of Inter Miami with David Beckham, was tasked to. They were having good times in the latter days of Oscar Tabarez. They were losing matches left, right, and center. So now Diego Alonso has taken over the team. He's put the team into shape. He won all their 4 matches, their remaining 4 matches for them to qualify. Luis Suarez remains the driving force of the team, but we must remember that there are still players like Edson Cavani and Darwin Nunez. All of those players can hurt us and hurt us greatly. They are big players with big temperament, and therefore we have to be prepared for it. Let's not be emotional about what happened in the past. What happened in the past has happened and it's gone. We cannot reinvent it. What we can do now is to prepare well, to defeat them well, so they can get a good understanding that they've been defeated by the Ghana Black Stars.
I hear both of you, but let me bring in Jerome. Both of you are very professional. One coach, Sonny, has been around football all his life. But if you talk to me as an ordinary football lover, you can't take the emotion out of Ghana versus Uruguay. That every Ghanaian will tell you that's the match we all look forward to. Jerome, what's your take on that? Hello, Jerome. Hello, Jerome. Okay, we'll get Jerome back. But Coach, I know you are a coach, but let me put that question to you while we get Jerome back. To that point, football is about emotions. The feeling of the nation when we come up against Uruguay, trust me, it somehow will get to the technical team. Remember, there are politicians around them, and it's important, is it not, that we are coming up against Uruguay, the team that used a hand to knock us out of the tournament the last time.
Okay, well, I'm glad you've drawn the distinction because when I was speaking to you before, I'm speaking as a coach. Now you would like to take the supporters' view of the whole thing. Of course, it's all emotion. It's all emotion. We've got millions of people here who think that we were undone. We had a wrong done to us by the actions of Suarez. And he's been vilified enough. He's been vilified enough. We just need to go out there and win. The emotion is there with every man. But we can't allow that emotion to penetrate the technical team, to penetrate the management committee, or the players, because we have to deal with the whole thing scientifically. Sonny Dara mentioned a number of players. What is the antidote to those players? These are the things we need to think about. How are we going to stop those players? Suarez is still in there in the engine room. How do we turn him off? These are the things we have to think about. That emotive stuff, yeah, but it's not 99% of the football.
Jerome is back on. Jerome, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, Jerome, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Jerome, give me your thoughts on this Ghana-Uruguay rivalry. I mean, I know you agree with Coach earlier, but that game will mean something different for Ghanaians.
Hello.
Hello, Jerome.
Yeah, Ivan.
Give me your quick reaction to that Ghana-Uruguay matchup.
I agree with Nana to a large extent because you see, we need to understand that what Suarez did was to prevent Ghana from scoring. And I'm sure any of our players in that position probably would have done the same thing. It's been how many years? 12 years ago. And at this point, we should be able to forget about it and focus on what we can do to ensure that this time we are able to beat them. I am more concerned about the preparations we are going to put in. Because, Ivan, let's face it, Uruguay might not be the side we saw in 2010 at this time. But the fact of the matter, too, is that we are also not the side we played with. I mean, we don't have that quality we had in 2010 when we played them. So we need to be fair to the issues and concentrate more on the necessary things to do to get our team in place properly so we can take them on. Because we shouldn't forget, these are sides that have played the World Cup over and over and over. And they come with a lot of experience. So if you don't get things right and you are going to reduce everything to an emotional battle on the field of play, we are going to face problems. I'll be very interested in what the FA will do to get us a team that can face any of these sides, including Uruguay, in our team. If we're able to do that, then maybe later we can talk about the emotional issues. At this moment, we need to forget about what happened in 2010 and look at what it is with our team that we can get right so we can get out of this group, because it's a manageable group, but we need to be very careful with the way we plan so we can get things right on the field of play.
Coach, let me ask you. I mean, so how does Otto go about? And let's put it this way: many of these young players, like me, would have watched that 2010 game. How does Coach Addo go about, and his technical to go about getting them to play the game and not the occasion? Coach. Okay, we may have lost that. Let me put that to Sonny Dara if he has any thoughts on this. Sonny, you've been around the Black Stars for a long, long time whilst you were with the GFA. Can you hazard a guess how the coaching staff go about getting the players to play the game, play the match, and not the occasion? Because many of them would have watched that 2010 match, and they possibly will know what this means for the people of Ghana, because many of us will want the revenge. How do you get them to just focus exclusively on the match? That's definitely going to be a challenge.
And I will start with what we are doing here. And a lot of things we are doing here will feed into what the players would think. If the media starts playing up this emotional issue, and it is something that the Uruguayans will count on, something they would want to get as something that will distract our attention from the goal. And that is this issue of goldenness about Suarez and all. So if we do that, one, our team, our players, they are not removed from what the say. So it's important that we drum this thing home, that these opportunities that what has gone on, and this must also start with us in the media, with the public, to also know that if we overly focus on what what is gone or what is past, we will lose the focus of what is ahead of us. So we must get the public to think in that way, so the players will also think in that way. But I have the utmost confidence in that Otto Addo himself has been working on psychology of players who are transitioning between the second team into the first team of Borussia Dortmund. He's a master in this area, a master of using the brains, the minds of players to get them to do the task. And it is the same thing we saw against Nigeria, where people didn't give us a dog's chance. They mentioned all the top names in the world, but we came in with young players, some of them teenagers, who went there to hold them and take them out of the competition. So it's important. These processes start from this moment. And I know for sure that people like Otto, George Boateng, Chris Hughton, Didi Dramani will start monitoring their players. In fact, I know, as a matter of fact, maybe by the time we are speaking, they've even downloaded their matches in the qualifiers. What they did against Argentina when Brazil, when they were beaten in the qualifiers in the run-up to this tournament before Alonso took over. They'll start doing that anyway. Then they will go to monitoring the players at their club level, see their performances and all. And then they'll continue closer to the tournament by monitoring them in friendly matches and all. These are things that will be done. There's no doubt about it. It will be done. But in that instance, we must also make sure, as Ghanaians, to play our part in getting the Black Stars to do well, let's not overly focus on what is past. Let's look at what is in front of us, what is ahead of us. If we keep on harping on these things, it can lead, you see, sometimes the coaches can do their bit, but imagine that the players are reading the newspapers, reading what is on social media, they are listening to the radio. Sometimes this thing can get to them, so we have to be measured.
So those are the thoughts there of Sadi Dara. He's going to stay with me. You've heard Coach Anajiman. You've heard also Jerome Motri. It's now time for Ghana Connect. Your own views. I want to hear your thoughts now. You've heard the experts, and they're going to stay with us, by the way. But I want to hear you, the Ghanaian football lover, the Ghanaian having now discovered the teams that your favorite Black Stars is going to be coming up against. What's your own take on the outcome tonight of the draw? I want to hear you on Ghana Connect Interact. We're going to be crossing over live now to the Qatar, where my colleague Gary Al Smith is also standing by, because he has been on the ground there getting some reactions for us. And a host of you are joining us here on Ghana Connect with your thoughts on this. Stay with us.